What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only, it's Scott Savage. Find him on Twitter at Savage. Scotty, what's happening today, buddy? Happy Friday.
Well, man, I've been working through a long backlog of some review games that we've had in the past.
We've had a few.
Oh, there's been a few.
That's for sure. Any plans for the weekend? What are you gaming this weekend?
Oh, I think I have to get my brother onto Halo. That's something I've been trying to do for a couple days, but he's just busy, so we'll see.
Dude, I played Halo last night, and I got some nice sniper shots in there, and then got totally destroyed by some others. But still a good time. They got that new event going on right now, too. So I was over there.
That's something I want to look at, yeah.
Yeah, I was over there checking that out. But you all can join us and check us out live over at twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. That's right, you've heard me say it before. Give it back. I want my Inside the Game. Come on, do it right. You know how it's done. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca. Podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, a quick PSA. My preview of Lens Island is up right now. It's over on the site. It's over on YouTube. Hit us up over there. Check that out. Show me a little support over there. And check out a cool game. Lens Island. You should definitely give it a chance if you're into that crafting, not really survival aspect of things, but definitely crafting. I did die in a couple dungeons, but it was a cool game. Worth checking out. Coming up on today's show, Scott, Cyberpunk. Here we go again. Dude, is back in the news. Can you believe it? After all this time, it is now back. Projekt Red looked to have Cyberpunk 2077 be considered a very good game in the future. And no, they have no plans on selling the business. DICE forgot to add collision to some buildings in Battlefield 2042, and Keanu Reeves does not want to be in Mortal Kombat. Why not?
Yeah, no, I would take that offer.
Oh, man. Ed Boon, hit me up. I will be in Mortal Kombat. I don't care what you do to me. You can rip my head off. I'm down with that. It'd be awesome to be in there. Dude, let's get going. CD Projekt's president insists the company is not for sale. We plan to remain independent, says the Cyberpunk and Witcher firm boss. This comes from Chris Scullion over at VGC. The president of CD Projekt Red has reiterated that the company has no plans to entertain an acquisition talks. In a new interview with the Polish economic newspaper, Adam Kaczynski was asked if the company was considering either finding an investor or announcing strategic options. Quote, "We have been saying for years that we plan to remain independent and do not plan to become part of the larger entity," end quote. Adam said, quote, "We are also not looking for a strategic investor," end quote. Adam was then asked if it would be possible for another company to perform a hostile takeover of CD Projekt Red by buying shares, but explained that the company's articles of association is protected against this. Quote, "There are provisions that significantly hinder hostile takeovers," end quote, he confirmed. A report from the market research firm DFC Intelligence in January suggested that the problematic position CD Projekt Red found themselves in, well, we all know why that was, because of Cyberpunk 2077, the Polish company one to watch as a possible acquisition candidate. Instead, CD Projekt has been making acquisitions of its own, including Flame of the Flood developer, one of my all-time favorite games, by the Molasses Flood. If you have not checked out Flame of the Flood, do yourselves a favor and go play that game. It is absolutely astonishing. I love every minute of that game. That's such a cool style. Love the art style. You're literally going down a river. And
that's cool.
And you're veering off into other directions that jump off at certain points to then upgrade your raft, survive, go up against wildlife. Dude, there's just so many cool things. I love that game. I played it so much. I ended up buying it on the Switch so I can play it on the go. But it's definitely cool. As part of our strategy update, we announced more activity in the mergers and acquisition areas, which we confirmed in recent months with 2 transactions, Adam said to this newspaper. We do not rule out more such transactions in the future. The purpose of our acquisitions is to strengthen our development teams and gain additional support in implementing our strategy. In this type of investment, we are most interested in experience and competence, and we attach great importance to whether the team fits into our culture of our group. Scott, I got 2 questions for you. Where do you stand right now with CD Projekt Red's latest title, Cyberpunk? Have you even played the game?
Oh, I have not actually. I went into my local GameStop and took a look at the price because I had seen there was some sales going on because of Black Friday. But
sure,
I told them, if you knock a decimal place off of this, I'm interested. But it's still a very bleak looking game to me.
That's fair.
I'm curious, but
to say that
it's no surprise that it's caused the company so much issue, and I've been making jokes about them being acquired now for about a year, but it's not. It seems like that's not happening. They're on the buying end of things, which is probably positive because you want to keep all these different entities out there and separate from each other is kind of the idea. CD Projekt Red has produced great things in the past. Yeah, I think they have a good future ahead of them.
I think so. I think The Witcher made them a ton of money to be able to carry themselves through the turmoil of the latest Cyberpunk game. So we'll see what happens to the future there. I'm curious to see, is the Molasses Flood now going to transition and over into kind of be a part of CD Projekt Red, or are they going to continue to work on their own stuff? And this is just another way of them to make other opportunities, produce other games, and still be out there, but yet have CD Projekt Red work on their current stuff or next gen stuff or whatever that may be. Dude, let's continue on with more CD Projekt Red talk. This again comes from Chris Scullion over at VGC. I'm so used to saying VG 24/7 lately too. The president of CD Projekt Red believes that Cyberpunk 2077 will be considered a very good game in the future once its issues are finally resolved. Scott, right? Like, man, I just
that's the idea, isn't it? But
it should have been a great game right from the get-go instead of worrying about the future, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. Speaking in an interview with the Polish economic newspaper once again, Adam argued that the brand awareness generated by the game means it will eventually be seen as a success, despite its rocky launch last December. Dude, it's been out for almost a year already. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I just looked it up. It has been actually a year in September.
Yeah. But it's true. I was thinking December for some reason. Cyberpunk 2077 is the biggest, most ambitious, and definitely the most complicated project in our 27-year history, Adam said. In almost every aspect, we tried to take it a step further, just as we've done with every Witcher game we've released. And The Witcher hasn't exactly launched perfectly either, but it didn't launch this bad. That's the other thing, right? That's the biggest thing. There's a bunch of quotes here. I got a bunch of stuff to say. Let's go. We're proud of many aspects of the game, but as we know, not everything went our way. Really?
Not everything. That's one way to describe it.
Exactly. Nevertheless, the brand awareness of Cyberpunk that we've managed to build is huge. And the game universe, its characters and details have fans all over the world, which is fantastic. Dude, I know people who have beat this game and then played it again and then played it. I finished the game. I thought the game at its core is very cool. It just was buggy as all end. Like, it was broken.
It unfortunately, because of the state of this one, it makes me think and look to Deus Ex. What's going to be the next Deus Ex title? That's kind of the way I want to play Cyberpunk. Where is that? Again, I'm on the outside. I don't know if that is quite how you can play Cyberpunk, but it's so unfortunate because they brought that kind of look, feel, what it means to be Cyberpunk. They brought it to the forefront, but just tripped and fell so hard.
Oh, absolutely. Quote, we believe that in the long run, Cyberpunk 2077 will be perceived as a very good game, and like our other titles, it will sell for years, especially as the hardware gets more powerful over time and we improve the game. We're working on updates all the time, and we're also working on a version for the latest generation of consoles. Of course, the original release taught us a lot. It gave us a kick and motivated us to make changes that will make us better in the future. The decision to postpone next-gen version of Cyberpunk was a difficult one, but we are confident that it was the right one, especially since it was clearly recommended by our development team. They probably should have listened to the development team in the first place, Scott, because they wouldn't be in this problem right now. Dude, if they would have released the game today...
That's change number one. Like, change number one is you got to put some checks and balances into your creation pipe here, because... And if the development team's telling you one thing, you can't just
ignore it,
produce a muscle out of that. Yeah, it doesn't help anybody.
No, they said we need the extra time to fine-tune the visuals and performance of the game to be a high quality as possible throughout the game. Man, like Cyberpunk was another year, dude, and I think we would have been talking about this in a different light. Right? We wouldn't have this conversation that we're having right now with Cyberpunk. It would have been, there's a couple bugs here or there, a couple glitches, but hey, look at the size of this game. Look at the scope. Look what Projekt Red took on as a challenge, right? To develop such a unique world, such a different twist. And man, Keanu Reeves is incredible, blah, blah, blah. You talk about all this great stuff. Instead, it comes out, falls flat on his face, trips over everybody all along the way. And the team was just like, why did you release our game? It's not ready. And that's the biggest thing.
You've played it. You've beaten it.
Yep.
Was it breathtaking?
Dude, there are moments of it. There's absolutely moments you're just like, wow, this is like, you really look around and go, this is cool. But it reminds me of, remember when Anthem first announced their trailer and you walk through Fort Tarsis? Dude, and it is like littered with a crowd of people. And then you get the game and you walk through Fort Tarsis and it's like a ghost town.
yeah, there's like two people eating soup or something and there's one shop.
Yeah, one shop's open, the rest is all closed up. You're like, what's going on here? But that's kind of how Cyberpunk released. It was, look at all of us and look what we have and look at the ideas and look at the game mechanics and look what you can do, this, that, and the other. And then you get into it and you're like, well, most of it's there, but a lot of it's missing. There's a lot of glitches here. There's a lot of hiccups. There are a lot of hang-ups on this. There's cars blowing up left, right, and center. People are just popping in out of the world. Like there's just
people that give me missions exploding into meat chunks suddenly.
Well, yeah.
That was one of the more entertaining glitches that I've seen.
Glitches can be comical. There's no doubt about it. And speaking of glitches, dude, that's going to bring us right into our next one because DICE forgot to add collision to some Battlefield 2042 buildings, so players are hiding in them. This comes from Sharif Saeed over at VG 24/7. I told you it was there. Of the many bugs and technical problems players have been coming across in Battlefield 2042 since release, one in particular may be more funny than disturbing. Battlefield 2042 maps are massive, much bigger than even the biggest maps in the series up to this point. That was done to support the 128 players, but naturally created its own side effects. For one, the maps have a lot of dead space and open areas with no cover as players travel between capture points. This emphasizes on size has left the edges of the map less detailed or worse. Reddit user Darktooth1 discovered that for some of those areas, DICE may have even neglected to add collision boxes. This basically means that buildings are not 3D objects. In other words, players can phase through them at will if they don't actually exist. Dude, they're disappearing within buildings.
That is not something that you can have in a multiplayer online game, especially not if it's going to have a serious take to it.
Yeah.
You can't have that. I immediately think of when was the last time I went through a building? And I think it was either Watch Dogs 2 or it was Grand Theft Auto 5, but that's a decade ago. Like it's been that long, but
yeah,
it was a silly discovery then. It makes me wonder how people even discovered that. You just leave a elastic band on your controller and you find yourself in a building in 20 minutes. I don't get it.
It's definitely an interesting little whoops. We forgot, dude. They forgot a lot of things last night. I am sad to report that I deleted Battlefield 2042 from my console.
Yeah, I've been considering it, but I like Battlefield so much that I don't know if I'm ready to separate yet.
Oh, I just, dude, you got to go into that game with friends to play with, right?
Yeah,
all of us are on different projects right now. We're just too wrapped up in doing. Maybe when we have the holiday season here, and we can chill out for two weeks. I think we're going off for about that. Maybe then we can get into it. But right now, dude, we're just so wrapped up in other stuff. That's the last thing I'm trying to play. And as much as I get into it, like I was looking at some of my clips this morning. Man, what a beautiful game at moments, right? And then the others are just what a disaster. And now people are hiding in buildings. One person even went into one of the buildings to repair their vehicle and then came back out. Like, it's just...
Hey, there's an idea.
Right? There's just certain things going on there that are just unfortunate. And yesterday we talked about one of the creative designer left Battlefield 2042 for another project, another opportunity. And it just, to me, once again, like we just talked about Cyberpunk. how that game's not finished. Battlefield this year, not finished. Right? Like, it's clearly not finished. Yeah. There's a lot of hiccups behind this game, but there's still a ton of people playing it. The community is massive. It is huge. They are going to town on this game and having a great time. But with that, you obviously encounter some hurdles you have to power through. Mm-hmm. Will they fix it? I'm confident that, yeah, DICE will get to one point where they will fix this game as well. But is that in a year's time, 6 months' time, a year and a half? Like, where are we at with this, right?
Well, they did a large fix with Battlefront 2, and they did totally turn that game around. So I know it's possible. Yeah. And I think everybody would much rather see these 2 games get fixed outright instead of everybody kind of abandoning ship. That's unfortunate.
No, for sure. Just a quick side note, going back to Cyberpunk, we also have a 20-minute discussion on that game. If you want to hear more details and opinions from ITG, the crew over there, I'll link it in our YouTube video if you're able to check that out over there. Otherwise, look it up. It's a lengthy discussion, but it's a good one as well. But dude, this kind of falls into that same realm of issues, and it's just unfortunate that we're getting games with such high standards held towards them that just don't work at the end of the day, right? Like, I'm definitely curious so when you test the game, you were given a list of all these issues, all the bugs, right? And then you go down and you check off the most critical ones, but you still know which ones haven't been dealt with, and yet you still send the game out. Why is that? I'd love to talk to somebody on the inside, say, like, why are you releasing a game that isn't finished? Is that the investors pushing you, or what's the deal?
If you have a lot of bugs, like, okay, that's gonna happen, but how many dozen do you need before you delay? Because I suspect there's dozens of bugs and issues.
Yeah.
Some obviously more issue than others, but...
Oh, of course. And then the other side of it, too, is the minute you fix one bug, sometimes that actually creates another. So there's a lot of give and take when it comes to making games. So it's definitely hard. But at the end of the day, you know whether or not your game is up to that standard that everybody is already holding you at. But, dude, let's move on to Game Informer's article by Wesley LeBlanc. Keanu Reeves doesn't want John Wick or Neo in Mortal Kombat. Oh, man. Keanu Reeves has revealed that he doesn't believe Mortal Kombat to be a good fit for John Wick or Neo. Dude, I think it's a fantastic fit. And I'll tell you my reason here in a second. It's also tough when you hear people you look up to say something wrong. But sometimes you just have to power through it. And that's what we're all doing after Reeves told Esquire, he doesn't want his character in Mortal Kombat. As reported by GameSpot, it's not that Reeves isn't a fan of Mortal Kombat. He thinks John Wick and Neo don't belong. Quote, if it was up to me, no, Mortal Kombat is awesome in so many ways. But I think, Neo, John Wick, they're doing their own thing. End quote. Reeves told Esquire, quote, Mortal Kombat is doing their own thing. End quote. Look, Reeves certainly knows these characters more than us internet folks who want to see Neo lean back to dodge Scorpion's infamous get over here chain attack. But come on, no John Wick as well? The character is a trained assassin that has killed anyone in his way. Surely Sub-Zero doesn't stand a chance. I think that's just a funny little article. But regardless, there might be a chance despite what Reeves says. As noted by GameSpot, Mortal Kombat and its developer NetherRealm are owned by Warner Brothers, which is the same company that owns the Matrix franchise. So the possibility is there. In fact, Game Informer reported in 2019 that the series creator Ed Boon said NetherRealm was pretty close to adding Neo to Injustice 2.
Oh, that would have been really cool.
It would have been cool, and I think Neo maybe would have fit maybe a little bit more, I want to say, gentler over in Injustice, so you're not ripping his spine out or doing whatever to him in the world of Mortal Kombat. But dude, John Wick would have been a fantastic addition. We got Rambo, we got Terminator in Mortal Kombat, like we got Spawn.
Good. See, I was thinking Killer Instinct. If he doesn't get picked up by this, you could go Killer Instinct. There's
where is that franchise?
There's different guns, projectiles in that game that could work out.
Sure.
It's kind of hard to do it against the wishes of the likeness himself,
I get it. I absolutely get it. But dude, John Wick would be a fantastic addition. I would rather have seen John Wick come to Mortal Kombat than Rambo. But that's just my preference, I guess.
All
That's
right, John Wick for Smash Brothers. Let's do it, Sakurai, one more time.
He's not done. Can you imagine?
Oh, that guy for 2 decades now has been hitting his head against the wall. Please just let me make a Kirby.
Make it stop. Make it stop. Dude, if you had to add one character to the world of Mortal Kombat, what would it be?
Oh,
that's a good
tough
one, eh? That is tough.
Oh, Mortal Kombat. It's got to be.
I got an answer.
It's got to be a melee unit, a melee fighter. That's really hard to pick. Other than picking a real world, Tony Jaa would fit in there really well. But it's.
Okay, you know what I got? He's in every other game around the world, so I figured we might as well just add Sam Fisher here as well. That's give me more space.
I last moment when I thought, well, how's Solid Snake going to fit into this one? Actually, you know what? Raiden would be a pretty interesting pick.
That's a good choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that would be cool. There's a lot of moves you could pull off with Raiden too, eh? No, man, that's not a bad idea, Scott. That's a good one. We'll have to hit up NetherRealms. We'll talk. Let's move on to what Xbox is up to. Xbox says improving video capture quality and sharing is a priority. We know we still have work to do here. This comes from Chris Scullion, again at VGC. Dude's on fire today. An Xbox exec has stated that improving the quality of video capture and the way it's shared on Xbox Series X and S is high on the company's priority list. Xbox director of Xbox Director of Program Management, Jason Ronald, was speaking with the Iron Lords podcast this week where, man, really, he was asked if the company was planning to work on console game DVR. For those who don't know, it is their video in-game capture. Then you can go to Xbox, I want to say it's Xbox DVR, and there you can mess with all your uploads and all that kind of stuff. Quote, I will definitely say that the game DVR is the one area, the capture and share experience, that I wish we were able to make more progress on this year than we were able to, Ronald replied. It is definitely a priority for us. Ronald explained that while the team had been improving the quality of video capture on Xbox consoles, it knows there's still work to be done. Quote, we definitely hear the feedback, he said. We have made some changes and we have made some improvements to the reliability and the quality of the captures, but we know we still have work to do here. So this is definitely a priority for us and something that we're going to continue to iterate on. Dude, this is exciting because right now PlayStation will let you capture like all kinds, 15 minutes, I think even maybe a half an hour at this point.
Well, there's other options, but then again, if you have any sort of cutscene, it gets just totally blanked out. PlayStation definitely has its issues. Sure. I hear about this story though, and I think, well, what really changes do they want to make? I can understand stepping up the resolution now that the 4K is absolutely a thing, but
capture time.
The only thing that capture time, but there used to be more of like a social media kind of hub around each person, each player. They had their views, their different videos, the achievements, and they kind of scrapped that quite a while ago now. But that's really the only thing I would like to see come back. And well, a little behind the scenes, we use that DVR sometimes to capture gameplay. I've
sometimes
never had an issue, really.
No, but it's there's easier ways to get around it as well, right? That's the other
thing.
Taking
1 minute at a time is frustrating.
Absolutely. But Scott, we're almost done for today's show. Dude, what is out for today?
Oh, we have one that is very familiar to you. Lens Island is in early access now on Steam.
There you go. Everybody should go check that game out. And you should go check out my preview on it because it's a cool game. And I liked it a lot, actually. It was really cool. So definitely one to check out. Dude, it is Friday, which means we are done for the rest of the weekend. We are the weekend off. Any plans, Scott?
Well, now I shift from way too many games to an obscene amount of way too many games.
Well, it's funny because we got stuff coming up on the dock for review for next week as well. So make sure you keep your eye out for all of that and what we have wrapped up in that world. But again, go do us a favor. Hit us up at insidethegame.ca. You can always be a part of the show. All you have to do is submit your weekly clips when you can be a part of the show over there and off our shows. Join us on Discord. Hit us up over on YouTube. We could use your support and love over there. And of course, this has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. where you can always join us live, twitch.tv/theofficialitg, over at YouTube at Inside the Game Official. But of course, if you can't join us live, hit us up later, InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week Inside the Game.